Before the modern world could glow, it had to choose a current, not a political current, not a cultural one, an electrical one. And that choice triggered one of the fiercest technology wars in history. A war between Thomas Edison, the most famous inventor in America, and Nikola Tesla, the brilliant outsider whose ideas were too radical for the system he first worked inside. A war fought with patents, public spectacle, fear, money, and the future of every city that wanted light after dark. By the late 19th century, electricity already looked like the next great force of civilization. It promised light, industry, and modern power. But there was one problem. No one had yet settled how that power should move. Edison championed direct current, or DC, a system in which electricity flowed steadily in one direction. It worked, but it had a major weakness. It was difficult to send efficiently over long distances. If you wanted to power a growing city with DC, you needed generating stations close together again and again, block by block. That made scale expensive, it made expansion messy, and it made Edison's early lead more fragile than it looked. Tesla saw the weakness clearly. He believed the future belonged to alternating current, or AC. Unlike DC, AC could be transformed to different voltages much more easily. That mattered because high voltage made long-distance transmission practical, and lower voltages made power safer and more usable at the destination. In simple terms, AC gave electricity reach, and reach is what turns an invention into infrastructure. A light bulb can impress a room, a grid can transform a civilization. Tesla's ideas might still have remained theory without George Westinghouse. Westinghouse understood that electrical systems were not won by genius alone. They were won by engineering, capital, and deployment. In 1888, he bought rights to Tesla's AC patents and turned the inventor's vision into a commercial weapon. That deal set off the conflict that would later be called the War of the Currents. And from that moment on, the fight was no longer only about physics. It was about whose system would wire America. Edison did not take the challenge quietly. According to the Department of Energy, he launched a campaign to discredit alternating current as dangerously lethal. The message was simple and brutal: a C kills. That fear campaign helped turn a technical debate into a public drama. Animals were electrocuted in demonstrations meant to terrify audiences. Alternating current was linked in the public imagination with death, danger, and recklessness. This was not just engineering competition anymore, it was narrative warfare. Whoever controlled the story could slow the rival system long enough to protect the business underneath it. And that may be the most modern part of the whole conflict. The battle was not decided only in laboratories, it was decided in perception. Edison had fame, influence, and the authority of a man already treated like a wizard of invention. Tesla had brilliance, but he needed proof powerful enough to overcome fear. Westinghouse needed a spectacle big enough to demonstrate that AC was not merely workable, but superior. The winner would not just build generators, the winner would define what progress looked like. That proof arrived on one of the biggest public stages in the world, the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. At the height of the current war, the fair became a showdown disguised as a celebration of progress. Edison's side lost the bid. Westinghouse won the contract and powered the fair with Tesla's alternating current system for far less money. When the lights came on, the effect was more than technical, it was psychological. Visitors did not experience a theory, they experienced a future, an illuminated future. And once people saw that scale of reliable electric light, the argument for AC stopped sounding speculative. It looked inevitable. But Chicago was only the public turning point. The deeper victory came next, Niagara Falls. For years, engineers had dreamed of harnessing that enormous power source. The question was not just how to generate electricity there, but how to move it where it mattered. This was the perfect test. If a system could tame Niagara and deliver power outward, it could do more than light neighborhoods. It could build regions. Tesla's AC technology, backed by Westinghouse, became central to that effort. When power from Niagara began flowing to Buffalo in 1896, the debate changed forever. This was no longer about marketing claims or fear campaigns. It was about demonstrated superiority. A C had done what the new electrical age actually needed. It had gone the distance. That does not mean Edison was a fool or Tesla a flawless prophet. Edison helped create the commercial logic of electrical power and shape the systems that made electrification seem possible in the first place. Tesla, for all his visionary genius, also depended on financiers, industrial partners, and moments of public persuasion. The real story is larger than a simple hero and villain script. It is a clash between two models of technological power. One model tries to dominate early and defend its lead. The other changes the underlying architecture and makes the old model look cramped. That pattern repeats through history more often than people realize. In the end, the war of the currents was never just about AC versus DC. It was about what kind of future industrial society would choose: a dense patchwork of local stations or a system that could scale across distance. A future constrained by the limits of an early design, or one reshaped by a more flexible architecture. A C won because it matched the geography of expansion. It matched the economics of growth. It matched the ambition of a nation electrifying itself at speed. And that is why this old rivalry still matters. When people remember Tesla and Edison, they often remember quotes, legends, and personality. But beneath the mythology lies something more important: a reminder that the world we live in was not inevitable. It was argued into existence, fought into existence, advertised, demonstrated, and engineered into existence. The modern electrical world was not simply invented in a single flash of brilliance. It emerged from conflict, from competing systems trying to become the system. Today, direct current still exists everywhere, from batteries to electronics to modern transmission niches. But the backbone of the power world that lights cities traces its victory through the AC revolution Tesla and Westinghouse helped force into reality. That is the real ending to the war, not the defeat of one current forever, but the triumph of the architecture that could scale the age. The war decided more than which inventor would look wiser in hindsight. It decided how modern civilization would breathe after sunset. Because before electricity became ordinary, it had to survive a battle. And the side that won did not just sell power, it wired the modern world.